Firstly, Happy New Year to everybody. We're into 2023 already, and I'm absolutely delighted. The channel has grown an awful lot. The Maneskin fans have helped that grow, and every time I do a Maneskin reaction, yous respond in your thousands. So hopefully this will be another one. Yes, it's been reacted to before. Yes, other people have said their piece. But I always give you a bit of bio. I always go into the song's lyrics differently, and I give you an interpretation that is meaningful to me and hopefully makes you think outside the box, outside the lyrics, and just resonates with you. But so far so good. Maneskin was voted, as you see in my thumbnail, Maneskin was voted one of the most watched reaction videos. Actually, two of them were, for 2022, and you, the fans, voted for that. So in recognition of their success on my channel, I picked Ragamuffin because I actually remember, and I'm going back some years ago, and it was around, I think, 2012, when herself, the artist that wrote the song, and Sailor Sue song. It was known as Sailor Sue. She was a Belgian musician and songwriter. And Sailor Sue, from a self-titled debut album, Sailor Sue, had Ragamuffin on it. It was released in 2010 as a digital download in Belgium and released on October 2010 officially. Now the background, the song was originally released on that EP, and it contained a sample of Rascal's song Top of the World. The music video to accompany the release of Ragamuffin was first released onto YouTube in 2010 around September, and it was around the same length as you're going to hear Maneskin perform it. But also the song's meanings. People always wondered what the song's meanings, and from my research, Sailor Sue has explained about Ragamuffin. The song, she says, symbolizes me, herself, floating through the space of my design. And Ragamuffin was used to label Jamaican poor people. Rastas are musicians from there. Then derives as raga. The term ragamuffin music describes the music of Jamaica's ghetto dwellers and is now a subgenre of dancehall music or reggae. The term rag is derived from the Middle English reggae, from assumed Old English rag, and from Old Norse rog, meaning tuft or shagginess. So the song symbolizes the artist that wrote it, and she is a small girl in height, but with an amazing voice. Her deep voice and her songs are always full of soul, and Sailor Sue is a revelation in the world of reggae groove music. She won the European Border Breakers Award in 2012, 2 years after the release of her self-titled album, and her soulful, sultry music stirs emotions in everybody that listens to any of her songs. The question is, will it stir emotions in everybody once we hear Maneskin's cover? And I'm sure it will, because Damo, as I call him, is a phenomenal singer. And one of the comments that accompanied this particular video said, I bet you all the people walking past this group, because this was before their Eurovision fame, I'm sure they're kicking themselves thinking, oh my God, I remember them singing on the streets. And lots of people who are buskers, and Ireland is notorious for buskers. I live in this apartment, and around the corner is one of the most busiest streets ever, called Henry Street, big shopping street, and lots of buskers appear there time and time again, and some of them are phenomenal, and some of them have gone on to YouTube fame. And there's Grafton Street as well, and I think the reason Grafton Street will always get lots of buskers in Dublin is because of this. People tip more for some reason, because the most expensive shops are in Grafton Street. Middle of shops would be here in Henry Street, which is why I love living here, because I can afford Nice little tops for Christmas like this one. But we're back to Måneskin anyway, and Ragamuffin, and we're going to savor Damio and Victoria and the group all coming to do their thing in the rawest, simplest form before they were all glamorized and globalized as they are now. And I'm looking forward to it because they just are extraordinary in so many ways, and you know it and I know it. So let's sit back now and enjoy the cover, Ragamuffin by Måneskin. I'm looking forward to listening to all of this now.
You never had it easy, I know, yeah, but I still remember you and what we used to say, so I said, these my song is for you, my friend, or you can only see that I want to let me go, no, yeah. So listen to the sound of my voice, you're gonna send me all love, it's giving me a choice, no, so listen to the sound that you want, yeah, Ragamuffin is a freedom fighter, it's handling a choice, and I know that the Ragamuffin is the one of the friend. What you see is what you really need in the end. What you're gonna I said the Ragamuffin shall enough fall down. You see he's the rhythm is enough fooling around. You see other good to see on the ground, yeah. I say you never had it easy, I know. Yeah, but I still remember you and what we used to have, so I said this my song is for you, my friend. For you can only see that I'm letting go, no, yeah. I said the Ragamuffin is the one of the friend. What you see is what you really need in the end. Now what is you ever gonna do? I don't know. I said the Ragamuffin shall not fall down. Cause he is the wisdom is not fooling around. Cause he has a good thing on the ground. Say woo woo woo, say woo woo woo, say. Ragamuffin is the one of the friend. What you see is what you really need in the end. What you're gonna do, I don't know. I said the Ragamuffin shall not fall down. Cause he is the wisdom is not fooling around. Cause he has a good to see and the ground. Say woo woo woo, say woo woo woo, say say woo woo woo, say woo woo. Lord, the Ragamuffin is one of your best friends.
I have to say bravo is right. Well done, Måneskin. Another extraordinary example of why they're so global now. They really have something extraordinary as a band, and that's why you voted for them in 2022. Not voted for them, but they were the most watched band on my channel last year. And I wonder, I always say to myself, would it have got the response, their videos, if they hadn't have done Eurovision and they had not have done? I think they would have. I think they would just be as popular today, and I think they would have made it anyway. At some point, a talent like theirs, and I have to say, Victoria, you looked extraordinarily beautiful in that. I don't know what ages you were, but I presume that you were equally as young, and it's just incredible. I just find you deserve all the recognition that's come your way. You really do. You're grounded people. You started on the streets. You were raw. You were young. You were fresh, and you're still fresh, and you're still young. Now the world knows Italy's little secret that was hidden on the streets for the passers-by to enjoy. But as I said, I laughed when I read that comment, and that they said, I bet you so many people now who have walked by, or those in the image right there sitting in the background, are like, that's me sitting, oh my god, it's Måneskin. Now I'm sure they are. Let's get into the lyrics. Really enjoyed that. Fresh, wonderful, and I'll tell you, you know, Sailor Sue is smiling. She is. Let's get to these. You never had it easy, it begins, I know, but I remember you and what we used to say. So this is my song for you, my friend. You can only see that I can hardly let things go. Oh no, yeah. So listen to the sound of my voice. Yo, brother, send him all my love. So it's a song, Ragamuffin then is a song about not undying love. It would just be a tribute to somebody that she loved. It's a tribute song rather than an emotional breakup song or one of those songs. And it's meaningful because she says, you can only see that I can hardly let things go. So instead of letting things go, instead of that love that came into Sue's life and then it left, she wrote a song and dedicated it to a special moment in her life. And I think that's extraordinary. It's really wonderful. It continues. He's given me no choice, no, no, no. Listen to the sound. Yay, the boys. Ragamuffin is a freedom fighter. He's handling a choice, and I know that. So there's recognition in verse 2 of why there was the separation, of why she's still got admiration for this person. Because somebody came into Sue's life and it's very obvious that she felt she was, you know, she had this inner urge like a freedom fighter to express, to deliver, to do something musical. And he's handling a choice, and I know that. So she's also recognizing that urge, that need to go into the world and just express themselves, if that makes sense. And she knows that. She knows why things are the way they are in her life. And she says, listen to the sound. So she reflects back onto the music. Listen to the beat. Listen to how I'm singing. I'm singing it from the soul, not just from the heart. I'm singing this in recognition of love. And it's about me and a period in my life that I accepted because we were like free, our souls. I think she calls her soul, that sense to go out into the world and explore it, like a freedom fighter. They needed freedom from each other to venture forward. She continues, the ragamuffin is one of the friends, and what you see is what you really need in the end. But what you ever gonna do, I don't know. The ragamuffin shall not fall down, because he has the wisdom of not fooling around. But why then shove your good sense underground? So the ragamuffin can also be almost like a term of music, of singing, of expressing from the streets, as we said, in the beginning of the video, from Jamaica. She comes from that. Sue comes from that. She feels that energy. She feels that rawness in Jamaica, that through the songs and through lyrics and through street dancing and street performing is the roots of what she's about and how she expresses herself too. And if they're a ragamuffin, she's putting that title on herself, and she understands when she writes a song, it's almost like, this is about me, it's about a period in my life, I've accepted it, and the person that I broke up with has gone on to do and make his way in this world, and I accept that because he has the wisdom of not fooling around. In other words, when he was with me, it was pretty special, and I felt that, but we knew we just couldn't stay together. We had to go and live our lives. But there'll be no fooling around with him. He won't be sleeping with everybody that comes his way. It's just, he's one of those people that had to go and find his soul. But why then, she asked the question, but why then shove your good sense underground? And there's a reason for that. I always say, if you have to go your own way, if you come together in a situation, but you're one, like I always accept breakups. I've always accepted life moves on. You do the good sense would be in referral to her. She's referring to her. I was the one in this relationship that kept things steady, that encouraged you to be who you want to be. I'm the one. But at the same time, that doesn't mean the other person doesn't have the sense to live their own life. But she does question it. Is he, in other words, is he going to regret missing me? Well, who knows? You continue, you never had it easy, I know, but I still remember you and what we used to have. So she does reflect on what they used to have. She does reflect that it was hard. Times were hard. And it's quite evident that even though Sue is from Belgium, she was one of those people that when it came to Jamaican music, when it came to Jamaican way of life, she connected to that. That was because when she was out in the streets singing, and I'm sure she was a busker at some stage, and she had to work her way up, it was kind of like what I see in Jamaican life is me. How they do their music is how I like my music, how I write the music, how I sing. There's a connection. And she knew that the person she loved didn't have it easy because they came from that background as well. So letting them go is one of those things you have to do for both of you to mature in life and have a life. But she remembers the good times and what we used to have, and that was the pure love. And she says, this was my song for you, my friend. And that's a beautiful term that she continues to write about. She refers now to that person that was in the life as a friend. See, there's no bitterness here in this song. You can only see that I will never forget this. So she'll never forget what they had. And that's beautiful. And she remembers it in this song. The ragamuffin is one of the friends. In other words, the ragamuffin is the music, the way of life, the rawness, all of that. Will always, they shared that passion for that kind of energy, that kind of soulfulness in music and lyric writing. And what you see is what you really need in the end. It's true. What you see in life, even when you separate and you go out and live your life, what you see is actually what you need, because obviously Sue and this person were musicians. Obviously the person in her life at the time loved music. And in the end, that will be their savior, no matter if things go wrong. So she says, from what you're ever going to do, I don't know. You don't know. When they leave you, you don't know, because you're too busy living your own life. And the ragamuffin shall not fall down. In other words, the love they shared for that Jamaican reggae music situation, knowing their backgrounds, knowing the hardness of having to lift themselves up day after day to perform on the streets or in the clubs that didn't pay much. But the passion of the music is something she will always savor and always reflect back and go, well, at least I met somebody that shared my passion. She says, because the ragamuffin will not fall down, because he has the wisdom of not fooling around. So she reflects the music, the person. And I wonder now if Sue was with somebody that was Jamaican, a person of colour, and somebody that came from that and influenced her, and brought out of her that soulful music and voice that she has. Go back into YouTube and check her out, everybody. She's incredible. And I will put her links in with Maneskin links in the description for this video, because she finishes, he won't fool around with his life. It's not about drugs. It's not about, he just needs to find himself musically. And then she says, but why then shove your good sense onto the ground? So she'll always ask herself, I could have been on this journey, this musical journey of finding yourself, finding me musically together. Because when they separated, Sue went on to win awards and be recognized for her music. And she always wonders, it didn't really happen for you. She's heard nothing back that he became famous, or she, it depends on the relationship she or he had at the time. And where are they now? It'll always be a question, but that's life. That's life, Sue. So that's my interpretation of the music. I think it's long enough. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed the bio. Ragamuffin, Maneskin, congratulations on winning the most recognized band on my channel in 2022. I'm sure you'll do it again in 23. Until then, Happy New Year. Join me, comment and like.